Almost 5.
Agent Strzok, in earlier round, you said you never talked to Glenn Simpson, right?
Correct.
And you never talked to Nellie Ohr.
Correct.
And you wouldn't say whether you knew if Nellie Ohr worked for Fusion. Is that correct?
My understanding from my direction of the FBI is I'm not permitted to answer that question.
Okay. But you did say you talked with Bruce Ohr, fellow Department of Justice employee, and Nellie Ohr's husband.
Yes.
But it is common knowledge that Nellie Ohr worked for Fusion in the summer of 2016. Is that right?
I don't know if it's common knowledge or not.
It's been in all kinds of reports.
Oh, it is now.
All kinds
yes,
of
absolutely.
press reports. All right. You met with Bruce Ohr in 2016 and 2017, so the time period that we're focused on.
To the best of my recollection, yes.
All right. And you won't tell me what you guys talked about.
Sir, I can tell you we talked about operational matters that he was involved in, but the FBI has directed me not to give you,
specifically,
detail those specifics.
You can't get
Yes,
into
sir.
specifics and details. Did Bruce Ohr give you any documents?
Sir, same answer. I would like to answer that question, but the FBI has directed me not to get into.
You can't. My understanding is, Mr. Chairman, the discussions we've had with the FBI, he's allowed to tell us those kind of pieces of information. I'm not asking what the documents were. I'm just asking, did Bruce Ohr ever hand you documents?
I understand full well what your question is, sir, and I would love to answer it. My understanding from the FBI is when it comes to operational details, including whether or not we collected evidence or didn't, that I'm not permitted to answer that. Sir, I would love to answer that question. All these.
I mean, you understand where I'm coming from, right, Agent Strzok?
Sir, I understand your frustration, and what I'm here to tell you is I think the answers would set you at ease.
Yeah, you understand. We got an email from you briefing everybody on the team, all the key players, Ribicki, Baker, Page, Maffa, Priestep, and Andy McCabe. And in that email, you say the dossier that you are now looking at that BuzzFeed is printing has differences from the one given to us by Korn and Simpson. Earlier today, I asked you who Korn and Simpson is, and you wouldn't answer that. It's kind of funny to me because yesterday, David Korn tweeted out, he's the Korn in your email. So the guy himself's identified himself. We all know it's David Korn, and then the other name is Simpson. So you have this, and we're wondering how the dossier got to, or if, more importantly, if the dossier got to the FBI through media sources, not just through Christopher Steele. And of course, we know Nellie Ohr worked for the guy you're mentioning, Glenn Simpson. She worked for him the whole time. You've never had conversations with her, but you did have a lot of important conversations on operational matters and ongoing investigations with her husband, Bruce Ohr, who's also happened to be reassigned at the Department of Justice. And I'm just one, and you've said that, well, you won't answer the question whether Mr. Ohr has given you documents or not. So I'm just wondering if that was the route. Was that the route the dossier went? Glenn Simpson to Nellie Ohr, to her husband, and then to you.
Sir, I understand.
That's my frustration.
I understand your question. I understand your frustration. I understand the absurdity of something produced that you're reading that I've been directed not to answer questions about. The best I can do is tell you I would like to answer you, and I'm afraid it's an answer that would both reassure you and disappoint you.
Well, we're going to be asking, I think, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with you, we're going to be asking the FBI and the Department of Justice to give us those documents that may or may not have been exchanged between Mr. Ohr and Agent Strzok. I think that's something this committee would like to have and see what those, if in fact there were documents, what the heck they were. I got a minute. I'll yield it to you.
Sir, you're going to love this and it's going to upset the vote. I have been instructed that the FBI has now told me that I can answer questions about the receipt of the documents. So I will defer, Mr. Chairman, if you would like to hear that or take your vote.
The gentleman may proceed with his questions and you may answer.
May I confer with counsel briefly to see if this is completely unbounded or if there are any limitations on what I may say?
Well, I got a lot of questions I've asked all day long.
Let's ask the one you've been told you can answer.
All right, so let's hear the answer to this one.
Which question, sir?
The one that's on the table about the documents.
Sir, the documents we received from a different source in the initial batch in mid-September.
Wait. No. I'm not understanding. You said you got, go back. Did you get documents from Bruce Ohr?
Yes. At some point, we received material from Mr. Ohr.
You got documents from Bruce Ohr. And what were those documents?
We received documents from Mr. Ohr, not me. Excuse me, sir.
I can maybe make it simpler. Agent Strzok, was it the dossier?
Sir, what I am authorized to tell you, in response to a question, did you receive any documents from Bruce Ohr, the FBI has directed me that I may say, not me, the FBI received documents and material from Mr. Ohr.
Did you? I appreciate
sir.
that. I appreciate that, but you
No.
did not from Mr. Ohr.
No.
Okay, but the FBI did get documents from Bruce Ohr.
Yes, sir.
Did they get the dossier from Bruce Ohr?
My direction from the FBI, as I may tell you, the FBI received material from
This is
Mr. Ohr.
amazing. Now, this
Congressman, I am
this is amazing.
I
This
is
is
as
amazing. So
flummoxed
Nellie
and
Ohr,
aggravated as you are.
Nellie Ohr works for Fusion, works for Glenn Simpson, and she's giving documents.
Regular
to Bruce
order,
Ohr,
please.
who's
Let
then
us
giving
bring
them
the
to
director of the FBI to answer those questions. The gentleman cannot answer.
Well,
He's asked and answered.
The American people
He's
can
asked and
figure this
answered. He
out.
cannot answer.
The gentlewoman.
Let's have Director
the regular order
I
is
understand, Mr. Chairman. Regular order.
the FBI has now instructed Mr. Strzok that he can answer additional questions, and Mr.
Hey, Agent Strzok, I asked
Gordon
him other
has
questions.
additional time to get the answers to those
He
questions
is
that
going
he earlier
beyond
was
the
stored
scope
and
of
didn't
what
get
the
it.
FBI approved.
Has the FBI also given you permission to say if Glenn Simpson is the name that you use when in the email where you say Simpson?
I don't believe they have given me guidance. My most recent understanding of my guidance from the FBI is in response to the question of whether the FBI received documents from
Has the
Mr.
FBI
Ohr.
given you-
The answer is that yes, we did, and
Has
that
the
is
FBI
all I'm
given you?
authorized to
Has
say.
the FBI given you information to tell me whether you knew Nellie Ohr worked for Fusion at the time you were meeting with her husband?
Sir, to my knowledge, the FBI has not directed me to or allow me to respond to that.
All right, I yield back. Thank you.